they have investigated a lot of these crash sites. And the way they describe them, the people that are investigating the crash sites, the actual scientists, they call them donations.
What?
Yeah.
Donations?
That's how they don't even think they're crashing like as an accident. Really? They think some of them they're just sending down here. Like, hey, figure that out, stupid.
Oh,
man. Send them to some remote place, slam it down there, and then the government has to rope off the area. And you can still find parts in this one area of New Mexico where this one crash site was. They didn't tell them where it was. Yeah. They blindfolded them, took them out to this crash site, let them investigate it. And you can still find these pieces of some kind of metal that you can take and you can crumple it in your hand like tinfoil, and then it goes right back to the original shape.
Really?
It's the same thing that was described in Roswell, New Mexico. The Roswell thing is very hard because there's so many people involved and there's so many similar stories. Mm-hmm. But the problem is when a story's been told for so long, people repeat a story. Right. They're told in towns when there's no recording devices, there's no no one has phones. This is a long time ago. They have regular phones, but no cell phones, obviously. And what they're doing with all this stuff is they're all talking about it, and then a narrative gets established, and then people tend to repeat narratives that are established. Right. It's hard because you're talking about something that happened in 1947, but there's a lot of things that come almost right after Roswell. One of them is a transistor, and the other one is
microchips,
optical,
maybe?
What is that stuff 59. Called? Fiber optics.
Okay.
Fiber optics seem to emerge after that. And it's one of the things that's described in the crash.
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of the UAP stuff is.
Yeah.
I've been thinking that for a long time. I think it's very possible that we are visited. It's very Tucker Carlson seems to think they're spiritual beings, that they've always been here, like they're devils and angels.
Right.
That might be true too. I don't know.
Listen to that.
I mean, but also probably we do get visited, but also probably some of those are ours. Probably there's something about the government telling you that these are off-world crafts that make you go, oh, you made it. Instantly.
Right.
My brain goes, you're not square about anything.
Right. Well, all those stealth technology, and they finally unveiled it, I think, in the maybe late 80s. Part of that was to let the Soviets know that we do have this capability because they didn't have theirs yet. And so we can get there before they'd even know.
My fear is that they're not ours.
Yeah.
The big fear is that not only do they exist, but maybe some of them are not ours. And so some other countries have the ability to have these things that move in these insane ways that we can't quite do. Yeah. That might be possible too. But if they're telling you that they're from another planet, they're not from another planet. That's my feeling.
Okay.
They're not. They spent 3 years lying about the Russia collusion story. Yeah. And they got mainstream media to repeat it all. They spent all these years lying about, like, fill in the blank. Everything. Pretty much everything. Why the fuck would we believe they're telling us the truth about UFOs?
Exactly.
I just think the whole thing seems... It seems
suspect.
Yeah, it just seems too obvious. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that they would just start telling you that there's off-world crafts. I don't think so.
Right.
After all these years?
Yeah.
Now you guys are just going to start, it's these brave whistleblowers. Are you sure? Because I smell bullshit. I smell at least some of this is bullshit. Yeah. I don't know how much of it's bullshit, though. I think there's too many stories from the past when this technology was impossible. Yeah. The Kenneth Arnold sightings, when they first started calling them flying saucers. Okay. I think you saw them in, was it Washington State?
Is that a long time ago?
Yeah, it was in the 1950s.
50s, yeah.
Most of them started happening after we dropped the bombs. That's why my comedy club, the rooms are named after the nuclear bombs. Oh, yeah, it's Fat Man and Little Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Because... in UFO folklore, it's obviously the Comedy Mothership. Yeah. We have a UFO. You walk in the front doors of a UFO.
It's fantastic.
In UFO lore, they all started appearing shortly after the UFO, the bombs were dropped. See,
1947, and that's when we reorganized the military and intelligence agencies. Right there, we changed the Department of War to the Department of Defense, and the Secretary of War to the Secretary of Defense, and everything gets reorganized. Right, 1947 is a very pivotal year.
So look at what it says here. Kenneth Arnold UFO sighting occurred on June 24th, 1947, when private pilot Kenneth Arnold claimed that he saw a string of 9 shiny, unidentified flying objects flying past Mount Rainier at speeds that Arnold estimated at a minimum of 1,200 miles an hour.
Dang. Dude.
So he saw these things flying at a rate, in 47, they were propeller planes, and there's no way anything we had can move like that. And he's watching these things go at an insane rate of speed. And so he said they skipped across the sky like flying saucers on a lake. And so it became flying saucers.
Flying saucers.
Yeah. And so, but people back then that saw those things, there's no way that was the Soviets. There's no way that was the Germans. There was no. Right. That's not ours. So whatever the fuck that is, if that was real, if the guy really did see those things. And then there was a string of them that were over the White House in 1950 something.
Really?
Yeah, there was there was photographed ones that were over the White House. There's actually like a news story about it, that these things flew over the White House.
Okay.
And I think they moved at a bizarre rate of speed too. So those ones give me pause.
Yeah.
Because look, the universe that's obviously a drawing. That's a drawing. But I think there is a photograph of it.
Yeah.
I think is that the
Dude,
photograph?
that's wild.
There might not be. Okay. Saucers over Washington, D.C. So what does the story say?
That looks like a comic book.
Senior Air Route Traffic Controller for the Civil Aeronautics Administration was in charge of the National Airport, Washington, D.C. ART Control Center on the night of July 19th, 1952. Briefly, he states in a newspaper article, our job is to constantly monitor the skies around the nation's capital with electronic eye of radar. Shortly after midnight on that day, 7 pips appeared suddenly on the control center scope. Ed Nugent, Jim Copeland, and Jim Ritchie, all experienced radar controllers, checked the observations. The airport control tower radar operator verified the same sightings. They were over the restricted areas of Washington, including the White House and the Capitol.
Dude.
So those kind of things.
Yeah.
You got to go, well, what is that?
Right.
Look, the universe is big beyond our wildest imagination.
Yeah.
There's no way we could even fathom how big it is.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh,
So they moved
man.
at such sudden bursts of intense speed that radar could not track them simultaneously. Those objects seemed to head for the White House, the Capitol building, and the White House in triangular formations. The sighting made the front page headlines in all newspapers.
Dang.
Yeah. So
That's
those
wild.
kind of
Yeah.
things,
I mean-
you go, okay, well, what is that?
Right.
The universe it's impossible for us to even get our heads around how big it is.
Yeah.
So if there is some planet out there that's in the Goldilocks zone that's gone through what we're going through currently, but is 10,000 years ahead of us,
Right.
and finds the signature of nuclear bombs on this planet, and they realize, oh, okay, these crazy fuckers have come into this new age where they can split the atom, and so we should probably take a visit.